Welcome to this edition of Dyer's Weekly. This is a rebrand of a podcast that I've been doing since 2018 called Dyer's Daily, and I decided to change the name and the kind of, the frequency of the episodes simply because these days I don't always have the time to do it on a daily basis or prepare episodes for daily release. So a weekly thing seemed like the best option, and I guess when thinking about rebranding it, I kind of had to go back to what the original intention was, which was to help my speech, to help me to kind of speak on microphone and I guess just in general, and also from a personal perspective, provide something that perhaps my children might want to listen to later to find out my thoughts on certain things to do with the media, the news, popular culture, because those are the subjects that we cover here, and obviously I'll be doing them in short bursts but in much longer episodes, hopefully on a weekly basis, hopefully much longer than previously. So let's get on to the first subject, and believe me, I won't be doing this every week in this way, just to kind of introduce everything, I guess, is what I'm trying to do, and failing somewhat, but no editing. So I've been watching a lot of Disney Plus, and as people will know, I've been subscribed since the beginning. It was bought as a present for my wife and I, and then Star was introduced just before it was about to run out, and we thought, shall we continue it? Yes, we did. And a year later, nearly, we are still subscribed to the service. Here in the UK, that Star feature that they introduced back in, March, has changed everything. Last year, 2020, I was not really watching it that much. Once I had watched all I wanted to, I wasn't really going in to view it much anymore. But after Star, suddenly a whole world opened up, and their release schedule has been amazing. We've watched Big Shot. We've seen a couple of the Star originals like Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin and Martin Short, and the whole load of library content that has been coming out that's been Disney owned and otherwise as well. It's coming up to the time of year where I subscribe to Netflix for a month, but a little bit like it used to be with Disney Plus, I find myself subscribing for a month, watching everything that I want, and then just putting it to bed for the year, and then next year, perhaps at this time, seeing what comes up. That tends to be how I treat Netflix. And as all the contracts start to come in and kind of go off to their original owners, because they're all launching streaming services, perhaps Netflix will have to focus even further on their originals to keep people like me coming back for their once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year fix. Tell me, what streaming service are you currently subscribed to? I have said to my wife, we need to, if we can afford it, we need to keep subscribing to Disney Plus, because coming up is The Beatles Get Back, and I cannot wait to see that film. Maybe I'll give my reactions to it in a future episode. The Peter Jackson documentary that's coming as part of a 3-part series. My goodness, I am so excited. Cannot wait to see that. So musically, I have been listening to a lot of Abba lately, primarily because of the new album that came out, and because it's that nostalgic time of year where I feel like revisiting a few old friends. But once upon a time, Abba weren't really friends of mine. They were just a band that I heard, say on a car journey or or in the house on the radio, they weren't really like my favourite band. I mean, you all know my favourite band, and ABBA weren't. But as the years have gone by, I've slowly become to appreciate the writing stylings of Benny and Bjorn, and the beautiful singing of Agneta and Annafrid. And the new album is absolutely fabulous, isn't it? I love No Doubt About It from that album, because it sounds like ABBA, right? And when I think about when I used to hear their songs in the car, and the people that I would hear them with, who some of which aren't here anymore, I think they would love that. As fans of ABBA, they would love the stuff that's on Voyage, because it sounds like classic ABBA, but it also sounds kind of up to date or timeless, perhaps. And it is sad that they won't be producing anymore, but they do have those Voyage concerts coming up, which will feature, as far as I know, the two initial songs that were released, Don't Shut Me Down and I Still Have Faith in You, the latter of which made me absolutely tear up crying. I really loved it. It was such a beautiful song that had sort of the winner takes it all in its DNA, and it really got to me. I'm sadly not going to get to the Voyage concerts, certainly not in the next couple of years or so, but maybe if the price of it comes down. At the moment it's like £200 or something for a back row seat. It's been a while since I've looked, but if the price comes down, perhaps. But until then, I'll have to wait for maybe a DVD release or some rubbishy phone clip on YouTube. I'm sure there will be plenty of those to get my fix of ABBA live. Coincidentally, I also watched ABBA the movie the other day, which is an interesting film if you're interested in the history of ABBA. Some great musical sequences as well. They've got a Christmas single coming out. I look forward to hearing that over the Christmas period. Perhaps I'll review it in more detail very soon. So, what should I talk about in this last bit? Well, since this is the first episode, I want to thank you for listening and for supporting. And one of the reasons why I wanted to rebrand was so that I could do this more often, because chances are I do it for about 4 weeks, 5 days a week, sometimes 4, and then it stops, and then I don't do it for another 8 weeks or so. And I feel like the momentum wasn't quite there. So I want to do this on a regular basis, and I want to build it into something, because everything else I do relies on people being there. It relies on guests and things coming in via emails for me to read. This is just me, a microphone, and you, dear listener. And I'm grateful for that. I've enjoyed doing this since 2018. There is a listener, hi Tim, if you are listening to this, who has been listening to the old episodes, and I don't always remember everything I say on here. So hopefully doing it on a weekly basis, I will be able to remember a lot more about what is said, because those daily episodes, they were sometimes up to 12 minutes long, and I have no idea what was said in them. Crazy, isn't it? So this is Dyer's Weekly. It doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well as the previous name, but let's roll with it. And I would like to thank you for listening once again. And please do like and subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. And let's build something here. If you would like me to talk about anything on this podcast, then let me know. I'll talk about the news, media, and popular culture. I've talked about streaming and music in this episode. I can go beyond that if you would like me to. Do let me know. You can also email jdyerproductions@outlook.com. This is Jamie Dyer saying thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye for now, and have a great week.